everyone knows they need to improve in certain areas, and certain things come, top of mind if somebody is like overweight and it's been on their mind for a lot. I mean, it's just right in front of them. Others, it might be finances. They're really in debt, they're in over their head, and they know that's an area I really need to work on. Others have a dead-end career. Others may be stressed in their marriage or in their relationship with their girlfriend, whatever. I want to give you today a 7-point checklist, as it were, 7 areas, and give you an initial question for each area to help get you started. This is the actual grid work that I use every year when I step back and look at myself around Christmas, around New Year's, and say, guys, where do I need to improve this coming year? This is the grid work I use, so let's get into it right now. The first thing that needs to be on your self-evaluation checklist is your personal physical health. Guys, if you don't have your health, everything else on this checklist is going to be a moot point, right? I mean, if you're dead, you can't worry about your finances or whatever. So guys, you got to take care of your health. You want to take the body that you've been given, and you want to step back and say, okay, how do I take good care of this body so it will take good care of me over my lifetime? And we've got a video coming, I'll put it in the end card here, that how to find the motivation to get in shape, because a lot of guys know they need to get in shape. A lot of guys are struggling with, where do I find the motivation to get in shape? We'll put that as an end card. The second area that you need to deal with is your emotional health. Put this on your annual review. How am I doing my emotions? Let's just talk about a few. How about the fear? Do I have chronic fear? Am I afraid of life in general? How about bitterness? How about anger? So you need to just step back and look at all the emotions and say, am I in a place where I have relative peace? I mean, there are things in life that trouble you. I get that. Things in society that trouble us. You hit financial downturns, that can trouble you. I'm not talking about circumstantial emotional responses. I'm talking about your basic baseline. Do you have peace? Do you have encouragement inside you? Are you able to, out of a wellspring of emotional health, are you able to give to other men and to your children and to your friends, okay? So emotional health is the second thing you need to think about each year. And you need to say, okay, in this year, I'm going to pick this emotion and I'm going to try to bring healing to my soul. I'm going to try to bring strength in that area. Instead of fear, unreasonable feel, I'm going to work on how do you find sources of courage, etc. So whatever the emotional health issues are, and ask your friends, ask your family, ask your kids, ask your parents, ask those around you, what do you think about my emotional health? And just let them talk. Make it safe for them to give you feedback, and they'll tell you some things you probably don't see. So guys, the third area we want to talk about is your relationships. Now there's a hierarchy, as it were, or there's an importance checklist in terms of what relationships we're talking about. First of all is your wife or your girlfriend. And secondly would be your children. Third in there would be your parents, actually. And fourth would be coworkers, other friends, and that kind of stuff. So you need to ask I'll give you one example. You older gentlemen, thank you for subscribing to this channel, or thank you for watching this video this far. You older gentlemen that have grown children out of the home, how is your relationship with them? That's a question mark that we need to ask ourselves. Again, I encourage you to do an annual kind of checkup on these 7 points. And that's one I need to step back and say, okay, how's this adult kid doing? And how am I doing encouraging them, connecting with them? Do you have estranged children or some of you men are divorced and you have, maybe you're in midlife and you're divorced. How are you doing connecting back to those children if they're living with your mom, if they're not living with their mom, rather, if they're not living with you full time? So guys, we need to step back with that hierarchy in mind. Our core relationship, if we're married, is our wife, then our children, our parents, our coworkers, and our other friends. We need to ask ourselves, how are we doing with these relationships, and where this year can I do better? Guys, the fourth area we need to address is the area of character. How's your character doing? How about honesty? How about integrity? Integrity, working definition, doing the right thing when no one's looking. How about gossip? Do you gossip about others? My working definition for gossip is sharing somebody else's ethical problems with someone who's not legitimately part of the solution. And you need to stop and reflect on that. Or are you listening to other people gossip about others? You need to cut that off. You need to confront them and just say, hey, Sam, I'm just not going to listen to that gossip. I don't mean to be offensive, but I just don't go down that road. Okay, guys, so the fourth area is character. You need to step back. This is not meant to be an exhaustive treatise on any of these, but you won't know what I mean when I'm talking about character. You need to step back and look at how am I doing? And again, this is one of those areas, guys, Just ask your family, ask your kids, ask your wife, ask your girlfriend, ask your friends, ask your coworkers. Hey guys, if there were one thing I should work on this year in terms of my character, what would it be? And they might say humility. They might say honesty. They might say integrity. Make it safe and they'll give you that feedback, okay? So gentlemen, the fifth area we need to talk about when we step back and look at our lives and the whole package of things is our career, our income, and our finances. Are we in the right career? Are we in the right job? Do you set your income goals appropriately? And gentlemen, if you don't know by now, you're going to find out on this channel that I'm all the old-fashioned guy on this point. Guys, you need to make twice the average, if not 3 times the average annual household income, so that if at any time your wife, who might be working early in your marriage, if any time she says, hey, David, I want to stay home, I want to raise the kids at home, I want to do stuff that doesn't really bring income into the home, you need to lay that foundation for her to do that. So are you in debt? So the whole area of career, income, and finances is one of the 7 areas you need to look at annually, and you need to improve every year in this area. Guys, set your income goals high. Set your income goals high and get the kind of training, get the equipment, get the motivation you need to hit those income goals. Number 6, gentlemen, is time management. How are you doing with time management? Are you wasting time on worthless pursuits? Or maybe you're not investing enough time in your personal improvement like we're talking about today. Maybe you're not spending enough time recreating. Maybe you're spending too much time recreating. Maybe you're not spending enough time working on your career instead of just working in your career. So how are you doing with time management? Do you keep schedules? Do you have a sense of where your week should go every week? Are you investing time in your kids? Are you investing time in your wife? Are you investing time in your parents and your adult children, as we talked about earlier? So guys, time management is one of the 7 areas you constantly need to be looking at. The 7th point of evaluation that you should look at your life is spirituality. How is your relationship with God? You know, research indicates that essentially everybody, with very small margin, everybody believes in God, but very few people, actually, only about 5%, really commit their life to finding out about God. And if He created us, if He created all this, does He have an expectation for me? And the first thing that you'll find out in that is that He does have an expectation for how you're supposed to live, but mainly how you're supposed to represent Him to others, because He wants everybody to know Him and to be in relationship with Him. So guys, now I put this as the last point because I know a lot of guys, if I put this up front, might just jump off. But guys, if you watch my channel anytime, you know I don't preach Bible in verse per se, but I'm also a radical out loud Christian. Radical just means to the root of. So guys, that's my foundation for all truth and reality. And in my 7-point evaluation annually, this goes at the top of the list. What do I need to do to deepen my relationship with God? What do I need to do to understand more deeply what He expects of me and how I can live His life? Because, you know, the gospel of the kingdom, as we call it, is simply getting the way they keep house in heaven in me and through me out to the culture. That's all the gospel is about. So gentlemen, that's the 7-point grid work I personally use every year when I'm evaluating where I need to improve. And guys, I'm working on all 7 of those areas. None of us are turned out in these 7 points. Character, health, whatever you want to say, every year I'm surprised. Gosh, I wish I'd made a little bit more progress last year. But you got to have a grid work, and this is the one I use. I hope it might be helpful to you guys, okay? Hey, if you haven't subscribed yet, guys, do me a favor today. Subscribe and hit the notification button as well, and thumbs up the video. And would you do me a favor? Would you share this on social media, or just send the link to a couple of friends and share it and put it in their message or whatever? And maybe it will be helpful to them as well, okay? Guys, I'm David. This is the Mountain Men. Thanks for hanging out with me today.